That's it, yeah.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Welcome to another episode of What If Qui-Gon Didn't Die? My name's Jamie.
And I'm Shaun.
And in this episode, we're going to be asking the question, what if Luke and Leia didn't know they were related?
Good question. A lot would happen, I think.
Yeah.
It would change a lot of things. And this is different from... it depends how you look at it. Because some things may not change. For example, Luke realising that Leia can access the Force.
Yeah.
In the later sequels. Sorry, in the later sagas. Because I don't think he was training her in the Force because they were related. I think she had a natural tap into the Force anyway. So I don't think Luke would have changed how they were later on in the storyline. I think this question sort of more revolves around the sort of episodes, 5 and 6. So 4, 5 and 6.
So first question, to really put you on the spot here.
Okay.
When do they find out that they're related? Or when does... I think Luke finds out first, or he has the feeling first. But when does he find out? Is that in episode 5 after it's been revealed that Vader is his father?
No, I thought it was episode 6.
Is it in episode 6?
Because in episode 5, she's still a little bit brash with Han. It's only at the end of 6 she tells him that she loves him.
Yeah,
and it's the whole, I know.
When did they kiss?
In episode
5.
It's episode 4.
Is it 4?
Because Luke's
laid up because he's. Isn't he in the medical frigate? After fighting with Darth Vader, loses his hand, he's getting a new robot hand.
Yes, and then she kisses him. And it's kind of to A, annoy Han.
Yeah.
And B, just because... But I don't ever see that kiss as a intimate, loving kiss. That's just a, thank you for what you've done. I really care about you. You've saved me kiss.
Yeah, that's definitely a more antagonising...
Yeah, it's not a lustful love kiss, I don't think.
It's hardly the time, is it?
Yeah, this is it. And everybody's watching.
Robo-droids there watching on.
Yeah. Han's there, Chewie's there, 3PO's there. Do you know what I mean? I don't view that kiss, because some people obviously made a big thing about it, and there's been a couple of interviews, about that kiss. And yeah, I just, for me, when I watch it, I don't, obviously I know in my head I'm going, oh, they're brother and sister. It's a bit funny. sort of thing. But even if I separate that from myself, I still don't think, oh, that kiss is lustful when they're in love.
I think it's the episode 4 kiss is the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's, again, that's more antagonistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Away from Han. It's
because he's so cocksure.
Yeah,
and she's really stubborn, and she wants to put him in his place by being like, look, I know your game.
I can kiss my brother.
Yeah,
that's
and that's the end of it. All right,
and I'll not accept anything else.
Yeah.
I'm taking no more of your bullshit.
Yeah,
I'll kiss whoever I want.
Yeah, Chewie if I have to. But yeah. So I can't actually pinpoint in me little head when she finds out, because it's Luke who finds out, and then Luke tells her.
Yeah.
But is that because Obi-Wan's Force Ghost tells him?
I think he just gets the feeling, and I think when they're stood on the bridge in the Ewok village, and he's like, Leia, there's something I've got to tell you.
Doesn't she just say like, oh,
she knows?
Yeah.
She like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense or something.
Yeah, she doesn't seem particularly shocked by the news.
No.
She's definitely not rocked by it, is she? She's just like, okay.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she didn't speak to Obi-Wan there was no sort of interaction between her and Obi-Wan, because I guess Luke would be the only one to see his Force ghost, and Yoda, because she never met Yoda either, did she? Because Yoda stayed on Dagobah till he died.
Yeah, not in 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I don't think she might see Obi-Wan, but I don't think she even does. Otherwise, she'd go, "Oh, there's Obi-Wan. Wise."
Yeah,
but I think she's on the Falcon before Ben and Darth come round the corner, and Luke sees them.
Oh, of course, because it's Han who says, "Hurry up, kid! Get on the ship."
And he's there, sort of running backwards, shooting away, and then he spots them.
Yeah.
So Leia must be on the ship already and unable to see that Obi-Wan is actually there.
Yeah.
Help him, because she knows who he is.
Yeah.
And we know this from the Kenobi series, but also even if outside of that, she knows because she sends R2-D2 specifically to find
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
So she must know either roughly what he's going to look like. Yeah, he's probably a bit older than she remembers, but she'll know.
Yeah. Yeah, because she don't see that. Luke has a bit of a shout. Because it's not long after that he goes to Dagobah. So
he goes to Dagobah at the end of A New Hope, doesn't he?
Yes.
Before he goes back to the Death Star to destroy the Death Star.
Yeah.
Because he goes there and Yoda's like, well, actually, is that right? Or does he go after? No, he goes after because Obi-Wan is guiding him.
Yes.
As he's going down the funnel.
Use the Force, Luke.
Yeah, he's got no idea who Yoda is at that point.
Yeah.
Or if he does, he's not met Yoda. It's only after, once he's done that, they go, "Oh, we need to go and do whatever," and he says, "No, I've got something to do," and off he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in episode 5, that's when he leaves Yoda prematurely.
Yeah, to go to...
Because even though it's a trap, he's got to go to Cloud City.
Yeah, yeah.
Best spin.
Yeah, yeah.
For you location nerds.
If Leia never knew, though, I mean, it wouldn't... Well, what would happen at the end of 6? She'd probably still fall in love with Han anyway, do you think?
Yeah, because I think she was always destined. It was her destiny.
Your destiny.
To be with Han.
Yeah, all of that sort of winding up, sort of playground attitude towards each other.
Playground, yeah.
It's like playground rules going on. It's obviously like a sort of antagonising flirting.
Yeah, it is.
So I think even if Luke... Because Luke wouldn't have fallen in love with her if he had gone to see Yoda anyway. So she would have kissed him on the ship. He would have gone to see Yoda. And then Yoda and obviously Obi-Wan as his Force ghost would have been like, the Jedi do this. We don't really fall in love because then we get hurt, blah, blah, blah.
But I think and as much as he doesn't, or doesn't appear to, once he finds out the information, he's actually part of a new Jedi Order, isn't he? So he wouldn't have those rules
that's true,
applied.
Yeah.
So if he had found someone, he doesn't have anybody saying, that's not allowed. He's not a monk, is he?
No, that's very true. It's very true.
He was a little obsessed with Leia and obsessed with finding Leia at the start. When he saw her hologram, he looked at her and went, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Got to find her. When she kisses him, he then pulls a funny face, sticks his hands behind the back of his head, and he's like, yep, I just got kissed by a princess.
Yeah. But this is what we spoke about in that other episode, isn't it? Luke is young when he's on Tatooine, and he dreams of nothing else but going away and getting off world. So, and I know this is a little hark back to that other episode that we've done, but Leia's message more or less saves him from a life of being stuck on that planet.
Yeah.
Because we all know, because we know, but Luke doesn't, but Owen wants him to stay there.
That's right.
And he's terrified of him leaving. So Leia's little message there, even though Luke does sort of say, oh, she's pretty, and when she kisses him, he gets all sort of bashful and sort of, look at me, I'm pretty cool here.
Yeah.
Type of thing. At that moment when he sees the hologram, again, I don't think it's a lustful thing. I think it's his lust to get off the planet and go and do something else. which keeps him fighting, not the, oh, I'm going to save the princess. So, do you know what I mean, where I'm coming from? Because the process to get to Leia, they hire smugglers. He's got some deranged old space wizard sort of making him wear a helmet and shooting him with really weak blasters on the ship while he fights with a blade made of pure plasma.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's the call of the adventure at that point, and it's not so much Leia as a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she becomes that becomes secondary.
Yeah, he's more obsessed with the need to leave than the need to find this woman. And of course, when they meet her, he's got Han, who's quite a big personality as well.
Yeah, massive.
Obviously trying to flirt and sort of take control of all the situations. And even though he acts cool and chilled, Leia really stumps him, doesn't she? Really,
oh, yeah.
And you can tell she puts him off guard.
But he comes across as the sort of person who gets what he wants normally.
Yeah.
In that sort of relationship regard.
Yeah.
And he's found his match.
Yeah. He butts heads with her, doesn't he? It's like a brick wall for him, and he's never met somebody who can sort of keep up with him.
And that just builds the attraction, I think. Sometimes you need somebody who's just going to be like, no. The more she says no,
the more he wants to fight.
The more he fights.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I mean, he's obviously a little bit more relaxed about it in terms of like allowing it.
Yeah.
But he fights back.
Oh,
and she enjoys that as well.
Yeah, and he keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Han keeps coming back to help them. He goes to help them fight the Death Star.
Yeah.
And then he's on Cloud City, but you know, Leia's there and Luke's there. And then obviously when they save him from Jabba's palace, and when they're on Hoth and all of these other things, Han gives this sort of big, oh, I'm going to go because I don't need to be here. I'm not part of no rebellion.
Yeah.
I'm a smuggler. But then he keeps coming back for Leia. And I think even if they didn't know that they were related, I think all of that build up with Han, even if she did kiss him and mean it earlier on, I think she would change her mind anyway by the end and be like, right, Luke's going to be this sort of Jedi wizard bloke.
Yeah.
You know, he's talking to ghosts that I can't see. Yeah, he's defeated Darth Vader.
Terakakoro.
Yeah. You know, and he's got all these sort of ideas of what he's going to do because he's found these new powers. I don't need that.
No.
I need something a little bit more stable. And even though Han's a smuggler and he's a bit of a ruckus of a man,
yeah.
It's obvious he's willing to hang around because he keeps coming back. So I think she would maybe still go that way anyway by the end of episode 6.
Yeah.
Just because of the way their storylines have branched off. I mean, another way to look at it is if Luke fell in love with her, and this is what obviously our question is, you know, if they didn't find out and Luke did fall in love with her, would he have gone to Yoda again on the second time, or do you think he would have stayed with Leia to try and win her heart over instead of going to become a Jedi? And he would have gone, right, we can still fight Darth, but I'm going to focus more on Leia and the rebellion, so she gets me.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is a good point. That's an interesting idea.
Because it does change the pace of the films.
Yeah.
But then it changes Luke's storyline. But he could still fight Darth Vader at the end.
Yeah, he just might not be as strong or as focused.
Just might not be as strong, and it might be a little bit of pure luck.
Yeah. He would need that luck, I think.
He would need that luck, but then to win Leia over, I mean, but it's just Luke's personality. Maybe she could never go there. Because again, but that's only my observation, because I don't view their relationship before episode 6 as a lustful thing.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, Luke's still quite young. And even though they're twins, Leia is more mature in the fact that she was grown up with mature people to do
she's
the job.
She's been given responsibility.
Yeah, whereas Luke is just a farmer boy. And even though they're the same age, you could quite easily say Leia's 32, Luke's only 22.
Yeah.
Because of the way he acts and the way she acts. Even though they're the same age, their mental ages are a little bit different.
Oh, definitely.
So maybe that would pull them apart anyway. and it's just a rush of being saved and the galaxy at war that sort of, yeah, it's a lot going on in a short space of time, because them films are very sort of, just the bits between Leia and Luke are very small, aren't
they?
Yeah,
they are quite reduced. So when do we find out that Leia might be involved as a Force entity? Do you remember? Because I think I know when it is.
Isn't it episode 8? Because it's not. I don't think it's episode 6.
No, I think it's episode 5. Obi-Wan and Yoda are both ghosts. Yeah. And something happens, and then Yoda says, "But there is another." Because they're talking about Luke's chances of defeating evil Sith, Darth Vader at the least, and I think it's looking unlikely. And then Yoda says, "Oh, but there is another," because I think they reference him as being perhaps the last
Jedi.
Yeah, and I think that's at the end of episode 5, both as ghosts, and then we go through 6, and then we get to the sort of they come to the realization.
But we don't know it's Leia they're talking about.
We don't know it's Leia, but we know it's somebody else. So it's already, the seeds are planted.
Seeds are planted, but we have to find out that Leia is related to Luke, because then Luke, that's how Luke sort of would go, right, Anakin Skywalker's our dad.
Yeah.
I've got the Force. That must mean that you have a bit of it at least.
Mm.
And then that's what leads into episode 7, 8, 9, where we find out Luke had trained her a little bit with the Force. But then if they didn't know that they were related, maybe Luke would have to by chance feel the Force in her to carry on that bit of story arc, or do you think he would? Some of his storyline would be looking for this person, even though she's right under his nose the entire time.
I think that she wasn't displaying any outward Force.
I don't
feeling.
think so either.
I think she. It's not. She didn't know about it, so she wouldn't have projected anything. It wouldn't have been out there, because like Obi-Wan and Yoda, the way they hide, and Luke later on, the way they hide is they sort of distance themselves from using the Force.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan starts to use it again when he meets Luke, because he knows now's the time.
Yeah, I need to show myself again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoda doesn't want to use it. He's very reluctant to train Luke to start with.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of convincing, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, because Yoda then also knows he's dying, and he's met somebody who looks like he could be the answer.
Yeah, that's why he raises the ship out the swamp, and then he's like, look what you could do.
Yeah.
Have a bit of faith, because I'm not going to be around forever to do it for you.
Leia, I don't believe, has even the slightest inkling that she would have any sort of sensitivity to it.
No.
And so she is not hiding it on purpose, but because she doesn't know how to use it, she can't project it, so therefore Luke or anybody else can't pick up on it.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Darth Vader picks up on Luke because Luke's starting to use the Force.
Yeah, and that's how he gets the feeling for it, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things that once you can use it, you project it. It's sort of the energy comes in. It's the same. The energy goes out, so you become visible.
Yeah.
Even though Luke's not thinking about how visible he is, because everything's an alien concept at that point.
Yeah.
He would never know that Darth Vader's now able to find him based on a feeling.
Yeah, it's like a tractor.
Yeah.
Tractor beam right to him.
So in the same way that Darth Vader says to Luke in episode 5, search your feelings, you know it to be true, that's him saying, feel my Force.
Yeah.
Because you know it's the same.
Yeah.
And so when Luke approaches Leia later on in episode 6, he sort of says the same or similar thing, because he knows, he can feel it, he can sense it, he's sort of pushing. And by asking her to search her feelings, she's opening up this sort of energy. She's receiving the energy from him and then pushing it back out.
She's creaked open the door, so to speak, isn't she?
Yeah, and that she didn't know exist, but then he was
able to do it, yeah. Because he jumped from having no power to sort of kind of getting it pretty quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Especially after Yoda passed away.
I think he had to, otherwise the story would kind of go nowhere.
That's it. Yeah, it sort of collapse in on itself, wouldn't it? But yeah, that's quite a good thing. So this isn't just about love; it's also about the last three films, because they would change drastically. I think if Luke hadn't have trained Leia or asked her to search her feelings to then allow the Force in.
Yeah.
Because if he just sort of went, oh, I'm a Jedi now, you're going to get with Han, we're not related, you're the rebel leader, I'll come find you every now and then and we can have a little chinwag, but I need to go and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Is it episode 8 or 9 where she passes away?
That's number 8.
There would be none of that other build up with the Force, or there wouldn't be that sort of bit where Luke talks about training her. Yeah, I think there's a bit where he speaks to Yoda about training her. And I think that would change more than, like I say, a sort of love storyline between them.
Apart from the obvious flying in space Leia, do we actually see her use the Force for anything else? Or do you think she uses it as a persuasion tool?
Probably as a persuasion tool. I can't remember.
I don't think we ever see it. So she might have had some training, but she never applies it, because I don't think she. Yes, she had the training. She obviously cared enough to get it to explore the idea, but I don't think she actually likes it. I think she'd rather not.
She's a very
practical.
That's the word I'm looking for. She's a practical applicator of her skills that she got from Organa.
Yes.
Bail Organa. I can't see her using the Force because she's already the rebel leader. She doesn't need to use the Force to do anything, and also she knows she's got the Force, obviously, because Ben Solo has the Force. But if she really wanted to, in that case, if she was anything like Darth Vader, she could have just gone, right, I'm just going to meditate for a couple of hours. I'll know where Ben is by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because they go, I don't know where Ben is. And yet Vader was able to find Luke based on just looking out and trying to find his feelings. So if she really wanted to, she could have just tapped into the Force and been like, oh, Ben's over there. Being a naughty little boy, let's go get him. Let's bring him up.
He's a very naughty boy.
Give him a bit of a spanking. But like you said, I don't think she would applicate it, because when she comes down off the ship, is it episode 7?
Yeah.
And she comes off the ship and everyone's like, oh my God, Leia's come here.
Yes.
She doesn't need the Force to be this big sort of deal.
No.
She is just the rebel leader.
She's the boss, isn't she?
She is the boss. Everybody knows that she is still fighting the resistance. She's fighting the good fight. She doesn't need no Force swipe or Force choke or...
No.
Do you know what I mean? Force mind control to get people to follow her, because people are queuing up by the thousands to be like, right, we want to join you.
Yeah.
And it's just the legend that is Leia that brings that on. Not, oh, she's a Jedi Master as well. Funny that. It's like she keeps it hidden and only Han maybe knows about it, and Luke.
Yeah. That's probably right. So let me ask you another thing then.
Okay.
Just keep asking you all the questions, get you to do all the answering, get you to do all the hard work. So obviously I ask you these questions because in my head I'm thinking, I wonder if this is something. So do you think that if Leia didn't know that Luke was her brother, that they would have been searching for Luke after he goes into hiding? Do you think part of the reason that they try their best to seek him out, even though they can't find him because of the missing map piece, do you think that she would have just been like, well, he's just not interested, so we're not bothered? But because there's a sort of a relationship there, there's a link. Do you think it helps persuade her to chase after him? Because
they want to find Luke, don't they? Because they need his help against Kylo Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know he's a bad Force user, sort of finger marks. So they want Luke to fight him because, he wields a lightsaber, and we've only got Rey and Finn who think they're both Jedi, but they're both kind of not. You know, Finn uses the lightsaber, and I was like, oh, it's a new Jedi. It's Finn. No, it's not Finn. It's this girl, the orphan girl. But then they're like, oh yeah, but you two aren't proper. And I know you want to join the rebellion, but we need to find Luke because he's a proper Jedi.
Yeah, we need the proper full power.
And he is, you know, he's done a few things. And as we've seen from Mandalorian, obviously between you know, episode 6 or whatever and episode 7, 8, 9, he does try and rebuild. His powers are obviously growing. And he takes out all of them combat droids in Mandalorian like they're nothing. And it's one of the coolest scenes. It's one of the coolest action scenes that Luke has, I think. Yeah, that builds him up to be an actual Jedi master. It calls back to the prequels of how Luke fights. It's like a prequel action fight, isn't it?
It's a funny thing, isn't it? He's got the same sort of like Darth Vader before. Like he was sort of stuck in a time in our actual time.
Yeah.
Where they didn't have the effects or the ability to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And now he's too old to do that for real.
Yeah.
So they've had to sort of de-age, because they de-aged or CGI'd
They CGI'd some of it and de-aged him, yeah.
And so retrospectively, he's become more powerful in the same way that Darth Vader is super powerful, and then you see him in episode 4 and he's...
Just a sort of leader.
Yeah, where you gone, Darth?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why are you so slow?
Yeah,
it's because he's getting old.
Yeah, it's just getting a little bit old. But so that's the reason why they're finding that. I don't think it's because Luke's her brother that she's obviously she feels more for it because he's her brother. She hasn't seen him in ages. But if he wasn't her brother and she didn't know, I think because of their journeys together through 4, 5, and 6, maybe she would still be as eager to find him because she's thinking, right. And of course, when what's the pilot's name with BB-8, and he gets off the ship,
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron, that's it. And he goes, Palpatine's back again.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, we need a proper Jedi here because I don't know who's gonna take this on because I wasn't ready for Palpatine again. Like, who have we got in the roster?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Han's getting old. Chewie, yeah, but he can't take on a Sith Lord.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean? And all these others are just kids who fly planes for me, sort of thing. So even if she didn't know he was her brother, I think she would still be sort of focused on finding him because she would be like, I at least need some advice here on how to deal with Palpatine. I can't win against a Sith Master like that. And especially seeing as he won't bloody die. Like, what are we going to do, Luke?
Do you not think that pragmatically you should look at it and go, we've got limited resources. Why would we put all our time and effort into finding someone who doesn't want to be found? Oh, because you remember years ago he was powerful, but now you don't know where he is. You're going to spend time, money, fuel, all the rest of it, these limited things that you've got, where actually you could be using those for
fighting. Yeah.
Better guns, more fuel for your ships, more ships, more people, whatever.
But then you think about Leia's sort of outlook. She sent R2 and 3PO down to Tatooine to find Ben Kenobi with a little hologram. She didn't know if he was actually still down there or not.
No, but I think what she's done there, first of all, she's not in command like she was later on. She was obviously of importance, but she sent 2 droids, and droids are kind of disposable.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they're the iconic droids of the series, but they're also just droids.
They're just droids, aren't they?
So if you say, and she might also think, if I stick them on the life raft into space, there's no readings on that.
Yeah.
So maybe
they're going to get ignored.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a misfire or something, and yeah, they get ignored because she's not stupid. She's probably thought about that and thought, we need to get a covert message.
Yeah.
I think he's down there. We're in the right place. Bang, send them.
Because who has the other bit of the map? Is it Girl with the big eyes. No, the little eyes, but the big glasses. Oh, what's her little name?
I can't think what she's called.
The little orange lady, yeah.
But she loves Chewie.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
Is it her who has the other bit of the map?
Does she have it?
Somebody has a bit of the map.
No, BB-8's got it. BB-8 gets it right at the start of the film. Poe Dameron puts it in his little chest cavity.
And that's why he's flown down to the planet, and then he finds Rey.
And then it's only when they get back to the ship and then R2-D2 reactivates after being in shutdown for however long.
Yeah.
And he's got the rest of the map, and they pull it all together.
That's it, yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's story progression versus what Leia would probably do. Because you probably, you're 90% right. She would probably go, it's a bit of a waste.
Yeah.
Putting all this effort into finding thingy. Well done, Rey, for bringing us the other bit of the map. But I ain't got time to sort R2 out.
Yeah, right.
I need to crack on because Palpatine's still out there.
Yeah.
So you guys maybe do that. And maybe the story would change that it's not Leia doing it. Maybe it's just, Rey, Finn, and Poe, and they're just trying to figure out how to wake R2 up. And maybe they would go off and try to find Luke and go through some sort of weird adventure to find Luke, and maybe they'd find him anyway. But, yeah, maybe you are right. Maybe if she only does that because she knows he's her brother and she knows that he's the only one who can help.
Yeah, what we don't know, I suppose, is the amount of time and effort that's gone in prior to that meeting where they give the map to BB-8. There's obviously that droid's not a cheap droid. That's the best fighter pilot in a dangerous place on a covert mission.
Yeah,
that's a lot of resource. Like that's a lot of risk to take, isn't it? For some
little bit of information.
For something that may or may not be the key.
Yeah.
To finding someone that may or may not be of any use, unless, of course, you think I'm related to this person,
and
this is family. I need to do what I can for family.
Yeah,
I kind of think that there has to be an emotional sway, even though she's really good at sort of drawing line and going, because like her and Han are split up, or they're separated, and that's because she's taken a professional line there and gone, this is more important.
Yeah,
it's. Love you, whatever. They love each other because when they meet up, they're like, oh, so nice to see you. You've not changed, neither of you.
Yeah. But Han wanted to go and smuggle, didn't he?
Yeah.
So she was like, go on then, off you pop.
And she needs to look after the
rebellion all on her own.
Yeah, so we know she's quite down the line about what she wants to do, and she's not going to change that.
Yeah.
So I think if she wanted to find Luke, she has had to commit to that. So she probably very rarely makes an emotional choice, but I think she would have had to have included emotion to make the leap because she knows
to justify the finding of Luke. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just some crazy old hermit now who just used to be powerful, but now he's run away. So why would you waste time with him?
Yeah,
he's unreliable.
Because it's like a reverse of episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would just flip episode 4.
And that's the other thing. If you look at it logically, he is an unreliable asset, isn't he? Because he's already run away.
Yeah.
Why would you have somebody who's a flight risk, essentially?
Yeah.
Why do you pin all your hopes on him? Unless you knew, or unless you thought you had a connection stronger than do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that would change. I personally believe that if they didn't know, then Luke wouldn't have come back.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Okay, then. So, let's just roll it back a couple of films. Are we basing this on as well that, because if Darth Vader knows that Luke's his son, do you think that at the end of that, and they obviously retconned it and put Anakin's Force Ghost on Endor, do you think Anakin would be able to find out if Leia was their daughter as well, or do you think he would keep it quiet? Because this is based on, of course, if Darth never asked, or told Luke that he was his son, nobody would know anything.
No.
It all stems from Vader knowing that Luke's his.
He finds out, doesn't he?
Yeah. Because if and then when Yoda says there's another, if we don't know that Luke's Vader's son, and Luke don't know that, nobody's actually going to know anything still. And it would just be an endless sort of snake chasing its own tail of, well, nobody knows this. So actually, Luke's not going to know that he's related to Anakin, so he would never have an idea that there may be a sister involved or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, it all stems from basically Ben Kenobi starting the whole sort of process. Silly little old hermit. But yeah, because I think Luke gets more intense about it because he knows he's Anakin's son.
I think he doubles up on his training, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He knows what he needs to do. He's seen the enemy firsthand.
Yeah, yeah.
But because he knows the enemy is his father, he now needs to find a way to match him at least.
Yeah.
To perhaps draw a stalemate with him to say, this is pointless.
Yeah.
You might as well stop now and then just be with Dad again.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get to know you. As long as he's more powerful, he can have that opportunity. But as long as Darth Vader's stronger than Luke, then he would just be defeated. He couldn't persuade him back, I think.
No. Do you think then let's just turn all of this around a little bit? What if Luke found out from Ben earlier that Leia was his sister?
Yeah.
And there was the two of them at the end fighting Darth. Do you think he would bother fighting at all if he saw Leia and Luke there and they both said, "We're both your kids.
Yeah.
Both of us are your kids here." Take the mask off.
I think there would always be the fight back because he's so conditioned into it. But I think he would have found it harder.
Yeah.
He would have been more conflicted.
Yeah, oh definitely. Yeah.
It would have been actually quite interesting to see a split timeline where they both learn that they've got Force powers.
Yeah.
And they both develop
as twins. And their powers develop as twins would.
Yeah, either they come together and they find out really quickly, oh, that's an interesting surname you've got. That's an interesting one you've got. I used to know somebody with that surname.
Yeah.
What did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, before you know it, episode 4 is finished, but they both know and they're now both training.
Yeah.
Because
they both go to Dagobah and she sort of leaves the Rebel Alliance to the old boys from episode 4.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, well, I'll do a little bit of training then. Maybe she doesn't get the full sort of, she doesn't get the gold package like Luke does. But maybe at the end when they're putting Han into Carbonite, maybe she's there and she's shouting her head off. I'm your daughter, what do you think you're doing? Because maybe she would say, I love this man, let him go. And then Vader will go, but I'm still a nasty guy. I'm going to put him in Carbonite. But you're going to come with me, young lady.
Yeah, I think it would make an interesting story if they found out sooner, because I think that they could. Yeah, the way they would tackle everything would change.
Yeah, especially episode 6.
And she might not turn her back on the Force entirely, but like you say, she might go for training, or she might not. She might go, I appreciate that I've got these powers, but actually my job is here. Yeah. And I need to command these people. I need to help these people right now. Yeah. Whereas Luke, as the farmer, so she's a princess. She's senator's daughter.
Yeah.
Sort of that's her background. She's used to commanding and leading and showing people the way. Luke's just always been by himself, so he would probably just be like, well, this sounds like adventure to me, so I'm off to go and do some training.
Yeah.
And I'll come back and I'll be stronger than
ever.
Stronger than ever. And she might turn that down because she doesn't see the value in it, because that's not what she's used to. Her conditioning is to be in front of people and saying, let's do it.
Yeah, and fighting the good cause in front of people, not in the background. Yeah.
Although I like the idea of them both being powerful Jedi together.
Yeah.
A proper twin set.
Because maybe that was Luke's dream when he trained her.
Yeah, possibly.
You know, maybe he thought, well, the two of us, you know, not a rule the galaxy sort of job, but maybe his idea was, well, I'll train Leia, and then maybe together we can restart the Jedi Order. You know, build up another temple together. Maybe start a new order. You know,
Yeah.
another one. But yeah, but again, we've it's so funny because we've both not really involved love into it.
No, we sort of talked about it at the start,
Yeah,
and then quite quickly, I think it's been dismissed.
yeah. But that's just our views on Luke and Leia as people, as well as the fact that, you know, and even if they never found out, like I said earlier on, I don't think it would change much with regards to Leia falling in love with Han anyway. But it's interesting to think that if it, in a funny way, it's more interesting to think that if they found out earlier, it's actually more exciting to me
Yeah,
than them not finding out at all.
And I think it would probably change a lot more of the story.
Yeah, than not finding out at all. You know, because even in 7, 8, 9, like you said, if she didn't know Luke was her brother, she probably wouldn't be that fussed on finding all of the map. Because, like you say, she needs to think about other things. You know, this is somebody else can do that. I've got more important things to think about here. You know, and the story would sort of still end up the same. It would just be somebody else doing it.
Yeah.
You know, Luke would still drink the green milk from the funny little goat, or whatever it were. Do you know what I mean? He'd still burn down the temple, and Yoda's little puppet ghost would be there. That was a nice little throwback. Yeah, like that little bit. But all of that could still happen, and it wouldn't matter if Leia was a sister or not.
Yeah,
because it's more about Rey, isn't it? So we don't really get. It's not really obviously when Leia dies, he knows, and he's like, "Oh man, I just felt that like she's gone." But if they didn't know, and she didn't know also that she had Force powers, Luke probably wouldn't have even known.
I've just thought of something quite critical, quite key.
Okay.
If Luke didn't know and Leia didn't know, and Luke and Leia and Leia and Han got together and Ben was born,
yeah,
would Ben be trained by Luke? Then, further on from that, if Ben's not being trained by Luke, Luke's still training people, does he burn down his temple? Does he go into hiding?
Oh, well, no. Because Ben's the catalyst, isn't he?
He is.
For Luke running away.
But that's because...
Luke knows Leia's his sister. She's had a son. He's got Force powers. Luke takes him away.
Yeah.
Whereas if Luke didn't know, and Leia didn't know...
Then Ben might never have
gone away with Luke. Maybe if he did have Force powers, say they were still brother and sister, but they just didn't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Snoke and Palpatine would be like, oh, there's a young Jedi over there, or a young Force. There's quite a bright spark of the Force over there. Let's give him some nightmares, and he's going to become an angsty little emo teen as it is.
We'll take him straight in.
You know, it adds... The thing is with that bit of the story is that adds compassion when you think about Ben. Because, he did something terrible, but you're always willing him to do good.
Yeah, you always think he is going to just turn the corner and go, oh, what an idiot I've been.
Yeah. But, you know, like you say, if Ben never went to Luke's school, he wouldn't have burnt it down. You know, Luke wouldn't have gone into hiding, so they wouldn't need, you know, Leia might know where he is. Han might know, not Leia. And she might go, Han, go and get Luke for us, because I've heard that Palpatine's still alive. And Han would go, oh, come on, mate. Do you know what I mean? We need you. I'm old, you're old, Leia's old. Let's get back there.
Yeah, I wonder how much that would change things if Snoke would just be... Cause I don't really understand... One thing I've never understood, and this is probably a question for another episode, but Snoke and Palpatine, I don't know if their relationship is apprentice and master, or if it's just two separate, strong entities, because Palpatine sort of...
He's the big puppet master, though, and he Palps.
Yeah, he is. He is Big Daddy Palps, but...
And Snoke's just an ugly git with a big hologram. That's the issue. We were all led to believe that Snoke was maybe Palpatine, but with a mashed up face.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, and then when we find out he's not, and then he's got the sort of guards there, and Rey and Ben have that really cool back-to-back
That
fight.
was really cool.
That-
And again, that's a point where you think, oh, Ben could be good here.
Yeah.
He could be Ben, not Kylo now.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't.
Yeah.
But then maybe Luke's temple gets burnt down another way. Maybe something happens and there's a catalyst for Luke to go away again. And again, like you said before, if he does go away and he's not related to Leia that she knows of, she just goes, oh, I ain't got time for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's too much going on here.
Yeah, if he was that keen on helping, he'd already be here.
Yeah, he knows where I am.
Yeah.
But it's a bit harder for me to know where he is.
Yeah, well...
It's a tough question, that, because there's so many sort of little plot holes that don't work out almost.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'd be keen to hear what other people would think might happen.
Yeah.
And if there's scenarios that we haven't thought of that might be affected.
Yeah.
That
maybe
would
Luke
actually
and Leia would have a kid. Little incest kid.
They
wouldn't know.
Yeah. There's loads of avenues we haven't explored, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you might have heard, dear listener, and thought, oh, but what if this happened? Please, get in touch with us.
Get in touch. It's all in the show notes. Able to get in contact with us.
Yeah.
You know,
Instagram, email, give us a shout.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'd like to hear, because we'll explore things further if people have got questions.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's part of the fun.
It's part of the fun, you know. Maybe we'll get shown the error of our ways.
Join the discussion. Get involved.
Yeah, it was episode 4 they found out, actually. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's all good.
So on that note, I think it's a good time to wrap up.
Sounds good to me.
So look after yourselves.
Be good.
And stay out of the sand.